Awesome. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Super excited about this. It's been a minute, but if you've been following along, there's been just a boatload happening in all facets of what we're doing, contests and partnerships and swaps and NFTs and a whole bunch more behind the scenes that we're excited to get out. So I call this community catch up because it has been a minute since we've done a community AMA, and I thought it would be nice to align and just kind of go over what's been happening as far as announcements. You've kind of seen a lot through the pipeline, and we also do have, with our contest, we've been having a lot of new people enter our Discord and just kind of learning about us for the first time. So I thought it'd be a nice moment to help get people acclimated with the team and what's going on and what's on the horizon. So I figured we have a huge chunk of the team on stage. So if it's okay, we'll just do a quick roundabout. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself first, and maybe just say your name, your position, and anything else you want to share as an awkward icebreaker. My name is Rob. I go by Mr. Messer as my handles out in the world. Head of marketing, and super happy to be here. Mac, let's kick it over to you.
Sure. My name is McKinley Patterson. I am into cigars. Oh, I do business development here, and partnerships. And the weather was really nice today. Who's next? Lauren.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am one of the co-founders here at Gauss, and let me just say I'm really excited to see all the new faces that we have here in Discord. Welcome, everybody. I tag Gary.
Hey, I'm Gary, CEO and co-founder, captain at the helm of this team on this awesome adventure. If you've been here for a bit, you've heard from me a ton, and you'll likely hear from me a bunch today.
And hey guys, this is Austin McCall, the CTO and co-founder here at Gauss. Excited to have you all here.
Hey, I'm Alex. I'm one of the content creators and video editors here at Gauss. If you guys have seen any of the YouTube videos or even on Twitter Space, some of the shorts, that's probably done by me. So if you have any complaints, feel free to message me. But yeah, so this is being recorded. If you guys have to leave, we will post this on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, check us out, and help get the word out of Gauss. Get the word of Gauss to everyone else. So yeah, that's me.
Amazing. So a lot of you may be aware that we are running some contests right now. We will be dropping a secret code sometime during this, and the code is one of those situations where you can double dip. We are running simultaneous contests on Gleam and on Zeely. So I will say that you will be getting some extra points for engaging, comments, questions in the chat. So feel free to engage if you're in a position where you can, if you are playing along with Zeely. And we may as well just start there. We have a lot, and Gary, I'm sure you have plenty to say, and anyone else, of course, chime in at any time. But I'll start there with the contest, because there's been a lot of chat in the main chat, and we have a contest chat. So I'll just give you guys the State of the Union, so you know. So we have a ginormous $105,000 contest through Gleam. It started back on May 9th. It's running to the end of July. We were talking about it today. It's over like $1,000 a day in giveaways. So it's being paid out to 500 winners. The link is all over, and we'll get it up here too in the chat. But it's through Gleam. If you are someone that is just tapping on with us for the first time, or you've been around for a while, it's an amazing opportunity to to engage and learn about us and help spread the word, but as well as build your bag of gang. I mean, if you look at the prizes, it's very profound. Some of the tasks are lighter lifts, as like retweeting, maybe checking out some of our other social channels. The other ones are a little bit heavier, and we're playing around with that as we go on to gamify it and to make it more interesting. So look out for that. We also have a simultaneous Zeely that we're running that started yesterday, and it's going to be running to the 13th, and that is a sprint of quests, similar to Gleam, some of the things that you're asked to do, but again, more gamified, writing threads, creating memes, and performing quizzes. And we really are doing this. Obviously, it's great to give back, to, putting gang in people's pockets, but we're at a place where it's like crunch time, and we really just want to share what we're doing with the world, with as many people as possible. If you if you watch any of the content or listen to Gary or Lauren or Austin or anybody on stage, the conviction and the belief in what we're doing, is amazing. And, it's one of the big reasons I've stuck around. So, we definitely appreciate you, obviously, participating and getting the prizes are fun, but just sharing it, just putting in the effort, we really appreciate it. So that's one of the reasons why there's so many contests. So big round of applause and thank you to people in the community. You know who you are, the mods, the guardians, Panda and Nagoli that are just kind of helping take this by the reins. And I see you guys in the chat and helping people that are coming with questions, and we really, really appreciate it. So I just wanted to comment on that first and foremost. Like I said, there will be a code that I'm going to drop sometime probably in the next 25 minutes or so, where you can cash in and earn some XP on Zeely and entries on Gleam. So unfortunately, staff are excluded from this. So sorry, guys. Sorry.
No.
But no, it's been super fun. Gary, we can. There's a laundry list of activities and announcements and just amazing opportunities for people in our community, outside of our community, all of the above. Is there anything jumping off the page at you that you want to talk about first?
Yeah, there's a few things. First, we're already getting a ton of great questions. We will be getting to those. I will ensure that every single question that's asked during this AMA is answered, even if it means I come back for a couple hours and answer them manually if we miss any. But thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. We will get to those. But from the contests, part of the reason we're doing it also is this is how we're telling brands that they could better engage their audiences. Right? You can build a community, you can engage with them by rewarding their attention, right? Reward and loyalty points. And that's part of what we're doing with Gleam, with Zeely, with our Wings and Dings. The Wing and Ding contests are weekly and daily Iron NFT giveaways. We'll have others for other tiers, but we set out to run those for 5 years. Like we already have the digital products set aside to issue those rewards out for 5 years. So, every single day until the end of that, we'll be giving away an Iron NFT and 500 gang to an Iron NFT holder. So these are also, they're great tools for us to build and engage with our community, but they're also case studies that we'll be able to present to brands in the future. And speaking of Ferro cards, we did just launch that sale because we have a lot of newcomers who felt left out because they didn't have the opportunity. They weren't here earlier. So we launched that this week so they could participate. And I'm going to hit enter on an announcement that I wrote up. because our iron holders have already seen the attributes, and anyone who's been to the docs page might have also stumbled on the NFT attributes. But that is over in announcements. This is another way for us to gamify things in the future. So as we run more contests for iron holders or NFT holders, we'll be able to utilize those attributes in determining randomization or targeting for rewards and things, because it's part of our goal to also use these NFTs as their own case study of how to best engage with a community. We'll be airdropping things or having contests, rewards for a long, long time. I've joked about potentially sending a couple people to space, because apparently it's $250,000 a ticket to get a couple people into space, and stuff like that. While it sounds ludicrous, right, is interesting. So I wanted to say that on the Pharaoh cards, and getting us started on this AMA. We had 3 announcements yesterday, and we have more announcements coming out this week. We've been building to this point for so long that it's, it feels good to be where we're at and to look at the next steps of, we're funded, we're launching things in the ecosystem, we're growing, building, and moving. I'm really excited.
It's an exciting time. So just to reiterate, the sale for the Ferro cards, this kind of flash sale here, is today through the 9th. Correct?
Yeah. We're just running it through the week. After we finish the public sale, they will be mintable on Gauss with gang. So iron will be 250 gang, nickel will be 500, cobalt will be 1250. So we could continue to sell them for, whatever other currency, stable coin, what have you. But, we're eating what we're making, right? We want to do this and allow people to re-engage with the ecosystem. I can quickly tie that into an answer with a question. The very first question we had from Taj00, because gang will be stakeable. We'll be able to allow people to purchase digital products in the ecosystem with it. It's going to be the primary medium of exchange between different tokens in the ecosystem. Down the road, there'll be even more uses, even though we'll go gasless eventually. It'll also be the single token given from burning LP tokens for the Omni pool. So we have a lot of plans in all that regard. But yes, to answer the brief question, yes, it goes through this week for now.
Amazing. Sorry, I was on mute there. Real quick, now I just want to cover 2 things because it's been really just on my radar, talking to everyone about it, trying to get as much content out about it. And 2 things that are near and dear to my heart, and that's one is the referral program. So I should be better at front loading these into the chat, and all this is in the docs, by the way. The referral program. So I talk about it every opportunity I get, Marketing Mondays, and shout out to everyone that was a Marketing Monday today and heard that code spelled out security for those paying attention. The referral program is a fantastic way to essentially get paid for connecting us to people in the space that could potentially launch on Gauss, people that could potentially migrate an existing project over to Gauss, people that understand see the value in having a curated ecosystem. So we just did we shot a lot of content on it this week. Like, no cap, there's no cap. Some of you may think that's funny. Dad jokes. But seriously, like if you really take the 45 seconds to 3 minutes to read that part of the docs, it's a really fascinating program that I am just telling everyone about because it's that good. So that's number one. And number two is the grant program. There is such how do I say this without giving too much away? The conversations we're having, many of them are coming because of the grant program and just the amazing opportunity that it is. And the grant program is essentially a program that you can apply for if you go through the curation process and end up launching on Gauss to help fund your project and kind of keep it afloat for the first 5 to 24 months when it's a very vital part of your organization, your business. Those are precious times where most projects could use an extra hand. And what I love about what we have in our strong, tight-knit team and community and the wide variety of skills is not only the funds, but the human resources, the wide array of expertise that we could bring to projects. So I just wanted to point that out in case you may have missed it, or in case you kind of saw a post out there and weren't quite sure what it is. So definitely open to talking about that all day. I don't know if you want to add on to any of that, anyone on stage, but I'm super passionate about those two opportunities.
Mac, do you want to talk about the grant program? Anyone else can. I'm just tagging you.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think it is exciting, and I think it's something that in most of the conversations.
Or the client referral program.
Yeah. I mean, both are exciting. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, most of the conversations that we've been in with folks who are considering onboarding with us, we're very curious about the grant growth program. And I'm looking forward to getting that assigned, the first one assigned, and the 10th assigned, and 100th, and all that good stuff. Yeah, I think for people listening now, I think the referral program is probably a little more tangible. If you know folks that are looking for a good blockchain to be on, and they decide to work with us, you can make a portion of the transaction fees for the first year. It turn out to be a lot of money. So, pretty awesome.
Yeah, for us, it's, we talk about, or I've talked plenty about decentralization of revenue streams, and that's part of it, right? I want to see more marketing dollars, going directly to reward brands, consumers, reward them for their attention. This is rewarding people for bringing us clients, and it's being an uncapped referral program is not typical. Most of them do have upper limits, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. Somebody brought us a large enough client, and in this space, you can look up Alpine F1's transaction volume and then do the math on it yourself, but I would gladly fly to somebody and deliver them a big Ed McMahon size check in their new Lambo. I don't care. It would be amazing. Austin, you want to do that? Deliver supercars to people bringing us clients?
You won't hear me say no. As long as I get to drive them. Well, that may be an insurance liability, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Just add some miles on it. It'll be a win-win-win. It'll be fun.
I see what you did there.
I want to. The questions are starting to pile up, but real quick first, Gary. A lot of the way I've been talking is towards people that have been in this community for a while, but I'm clicking on PFPs down here, and I'm seeing join June 4th, join June 5th, join May 31st. So, without really going too deep, give us the elevator pitch, the TLDR on what Gauss actually is. Let's take a step back, just zoom out, real basic. And if a couple people want to add on to that, I just think it would be helpful because some people are definitely here for the couple days.
Yeah. So the single line description, Gauss is the curated ecosystem for digital products, rewards, and collectibles. For crypto natives, we're a permissioned L1 that will be vetting everyone that launches with us. We believe that this space needs a great deal more accountability than it has, which is presently a low bar. There's no accountability. So we want to see a high integrity ecosystem that allows brands and users to truly be able to step in and mass adopt. If you ask any random friend that isn't already in crypto why they're not, the prevailing answer you'll get is it's because it's a scam, right? That's why they don't want to participate. The way we change that is by holding scammers accountable or building an ecosystem that prevents them from scamming people. And if one does happen to make it through the cracks, they're held accountable. Quality of brands launching on Gauss, right? The more, the bigger, the better. I think it's really the biggest distilled metric for success is that transaction volume for us.
Awesome. I'm going to throw this one to Austin. Oh man, I just scrolled and ended up somewhere else.
Take a stab and say it's the one about gas fees.
Yeah, go with that one. Oh, here we go. Will Gauss do a security audit after the mainnet is launched? Because actually there have been many projects that have been released, but there is no strong security. That is very unfortunate. And in terms of security that Gauss will implement, it will definitely convince many new investors who want to adopt it. Safety is convenience.
Yep. To answer your question, yes and no, because we're doing quite a few beforehand as well. There will be an ecosystem-wide audit done, most likely when we roll out the V2 ecosystem. We have quite a few partners in the security audit space. I don't know which we can currently confirm. I believe we just signed one today. We definitely have confirmed Prisma Shield, and there are 2 others in the pipeline. So we have quite a few partners with very large security audit companies in the space that will help us both offer a discounted price to those clients and brands that onboard with us, as well as for our own uses as well.
Awesome, great answer. Yeah, and to again plug Wednesday, there's going to be a really, I think, a great announcement. Especially if you look under the hood about the company and this new partnership and who they work with. So it'll be a really nice feather in our cap.
Actually, I can drop a little bit of alpha because I had a call with one of those companies today. So we will actually be implementing one of their tools that allows us to have active monitoring of all smart contracts in our ecosystem. So we can monitor for literally anything that we want to parameterize. So it could be something as simple as transferring ownership, or something as simple or more in depth as pulling out liquidity, things like that. So that will allow us to actively monitor literally everything in the ecosystem, make sure there are no bad actors, and if there are bad actors, we're alerted to it immediately and can take action.
We can also programmatically respond.
That's true.
Right. With that tool? Yeah.
Yeah, we can immediately blacklist wallets with that tool.
So I know for the decentralized world, a lot of that sounds dystopian, right? And I understand that because with a central authority, there's pros and cons. But I think for brand adoption and mass adoption, having a high integrity ecosystem is needed.
Mm-hmm.
We actually went to an in-person event last week, and so the question we got asked very often was, how are you guys going to keep yourselves from being the bad actors? And one of the things that we talked about is going back to what Austin was mentioning earlier. There's a lot of awesome tools now to where people are able to see like what is going on actively within the chain, but typically it's still in-house. One of our goals is to actually try to put together a database that allows our end users to see what's going on in real time so that they can tell, if there's something going on in the blockchain, or they can like alert us if they think something's off. But we that's a part of our business model. We want to do everything that we can in order to include our community in what we're building and make sure you guys are privy to what is going on at pretty much all times.
Yeah. I'll add on that our auditing will also go well beyond just security auditing, because there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just smart contract auditing or protocol auditing, just looking at the code and testing it, but there's also pen testing and things like that. Circle's a phenomenal model, in my opinion, for their high degree of transparency and trust. They are audited, it's either monthly or quarterly, I don't recall, and Pat's not on, he's looked at them before too. But they're audited by Deloitte regularly, one of the top 4 accounting firms in the world, and will likely go through similar, where we have our liquidity being audited, our reserves being audited. I think it's important, even though we are centralized, to maintain a great number of those characteristics, right? It's unfortunate to see a lot of crypto projects end up doing what they're speaking out against, like things with FTX, where they used their customers' funds, much like a bank would. They used those deposits, invested them, but there was no oversight there. I think that, that any of those things can be toxic to an ecosystem and are all things we want to avoid. So hopefully that gives plenty of depth on that one. I can jump into the next question in the line. Tiwan Ahmed, is there any anti-dump mechanisms in place for when Gauss launches so airdrop winners of Gang don't insta-dump, or is price not a significant concern? So, a couple parts here. First and foremost, I can't say that price is not a concern, but it really isn't. Once it's, freely being swapped and utilized, price really isn't my concern. My concern is ensuring security and integrity of the ecosystem and the value of the ecosystem. What users do with that and where supply and demand take it, that's the market. However, we are still conscious and aware of how every other project hockey sticks and then dumps. So at the end of this public sale, the private rounds, the public round, all of those have a release schedule, even the public sale. It's a 3-month release schedule. So at launch, after the public sale, will be significantly over collateralized. The aim is to forever keep Gauss over collateralized with liquidity. We might be able to post a link as a direct response, but there's a really great, it might even be pinned in main chat. I have a breakdown of what it would look like if 100% of Iron NFT holders or all NFT holders sold Gang at the first second they could, and what that would do to the price, the actual price impact of that. Somewhere there's a post, and that's just me exploring numbers, but it's not because it's over collateralized. It doesn't go anywhere close to zero. It loses, I think, 1/6 of its initial launch price. Because we do think about that, right? You have to build a long-term thriving and sustainable ecosystem, you really have to consider the incentives and mechanisms that go into building an economy, right? That's what we're doing. So, great question.
Definitely great questions, and a lot of you are going to be receiving some extra XP in Zealy and some entries in Gleam. So if you're not familiar with those contests, I definitely recommend checking them out. But I do want to quickly drop something. So for those of you that are paying attention, I have two dogs. They're and the oldest one. Some of you have asked me that are playing along with the contest. What the name of my oldest dog is? The name of my dog is Oliver. Oliver. If you are in Zealy, that might be a secret code that you'd want to write down. And in Gleam, you know what to do. So that's Oliver. Thank you for being here. Thanks for your engagement and just learning about what we're doing here and joining our gang here. So great questions. Hopefully people were paying attention. Moving on. Manny Jabs says, staying with the decentralization topic, who are Gauss's validators, or rather, how are they selected in a manner that promotes decentralization rather than centralization? How many are there, and is there a target number of validators envisioned?
So this is a great question for Austin. I do want to preface his commentary before he jumps in with there's pros and cons to everything. There's give and take. Gauss will be a speedy chain, and there's benefits to the route we're taking. Austin.
Well, to answer your question, as far as validators are concerned, we will be a central validation system for the foreseeable future. We do have plans to open that up for trusted partners and things like that to be validators, but probably for the initial, what are we thinking, Gary? The first year, maybe two, will probably stay very centralized. And what that means is all of the validators will be owned and operated by us. We have nodes already in every major region in the world, so eventually those will be built on. So you'll have an RPC node in every country. That way we can keep speed and finality up. What was the other part of that question? I think it was a two-part question, right?
Promotes decentralization rather than centralization. You or I could tackle that part.
Ooh. I'll let you tackle that. I was finishing up another question here.
Yeah, that's part of the same question about validators by Manny Jabs.
Manny Jabs.
914.
So again, yeah, we're just going to be more centralized and decentralized. The reason being is that offers us a lot of tools that other blockchains don't, mainly security. Let's say, for example, that a bad actor does make it through our system. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but realistically at some point it may. One of the quickest things that we can do is actually shut down the chain and start it up privately to where we can then either blacklist those wallets or those projects. We can implement a solution to any hacked code or any hacked like swaps, decks, whatever the case might be. And we can privately fix those and then spool the chain back up without anyone ever being the wiser, rather not being the wiser. But, you know, it's just, there's so much more we can do centrally that I think it behooves us to stick with that for the time being.
That's also like one of the most extreme examples of a response before anyone thinks that that's something that happens regularly. That's like
it's something that no other chain can do right now.
Well, some can, but don't, because, see, part of the thing here with centralization versus decentralization, right? We accept a fair degree of liability in saying that Gauss is a protected ecosystem, that we are protecting the ecosystem, that we have that as a responsibility. So there's a liability that comes along with that. Most others out there prefer the hands-off approach because it's easy. They don't have to worry about scams or fraud or anyone crying to them about losing another $1 million on this, that, or the other, because they say, well, they wash their hands of it and say, we don't protect anything. You know, we're just a place where anyone can do whatever they want. So they're, at the moment, still free of liability. We're a bit different. We have liability to protect the ecosystem because that's a responsibility we're accepting. But yeah, so I think decentralization as a topic, this is a bit more abstract, is far larger than just the decentralization of validators, right? I think decentralization of revenue streams is a huge one that we'll see more and more over time. I think it's also in the same topic worth mentioning that we don't want custody of users anything, right? We're not doing custodial anything just about, because we do maintain a great number of those ideals. You know, as an ecosystem, we'll actively be not KYCing every user in the ecosystem, unless, you know, a bunch of countries band together and say that's something you must do for any digital ecosystem, because I think that's the responsibility of governments and fiat on-off ramps, of which we're neither. So, again, awesome question.
Loving the questions. Here's one. How would you tell the difference between a stolen coin and a normal coin if something was stolen?
I'm assuming they mean a token out of somebody's wallet. Okay, the bright on this question right here. If you could elaborate it on that question, I'm curious to see exactly where you're coming from, Bright Zone. I mean, provenance is easy, but anyone can claim something stolen or, you know, transfer it to somebody for some other transaction. So I'm curious if you could elaborate on that. We'll be able to answer that a bit better.
I see he's typing. I'll jump to the next one. Koa. It's hard to start a new chain and entice devs and projects to join and create. First off, I applaud your efforts and appreciate your curated chain philosophy. What is your plan to get more traffic on this chain?
So there's a lot of different things here. I think the two biggest things we're looking at are incentivizing builders and working with platforms, agencies, things like that. And in both regards, they act as force multipliers for how we build the ecosystem, how rapidly we're able to build. If we have a partner that launches a platform with us that then signs on a number of brands for some reward or loyalty programs, that's a significant force multiplier. But yeah, the growth grant program is one big one. The client referral program and liquidity programs, all of those, I believe, are significant incentives to launching with us. I also think the unique perspective of our offering, our core foundational what is Gauss offering, is significant, right? Being a high integrity ecosystem, being a curated ecosystem has value. If anyone thinks that in 10 years brands will be consistently launching in public chains, I think that's a naive perspective or overly optimistic in, you know, the belief that brands deal well with anarchy. They want to ensure their IP is protected. They want to ensure that their image is protected and their users are protected. So I think once more people understand that, that'll also significantly help. We're still in a nascent phase, so it's going to take time. Awesome question, Koa. Glad to see you here too.
We missed one up here. ARXXX says, launching on European exchange, which market will be the most important for the Gauss ecosystem and your business model? Asia, what about US market? How important is the global reach for brands?
I think it's remarkably important. You know, US is our first market. That's where we're headquarters. And we also have our European subsidiary to do our token sale there. But I think the US, Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, like all of them are equally important markets in different ways, right? You can't ignore, when you're looking at the future of building interconnected virtual microeconomies, you can't ignore geographical or you can't ignore geographical specifics because you're digital, because you can be global. The Asian market is massive, right? That said, the potential for emerging markets is also huge. The ability for the bank to become banked, or what you've seen already with a number of play to earn or Web3 games, things like that. It doesn't take much to provide replacement income for many people in those emerging economies. And, I think that's a big part of the future of where all this goes. As we have automation coming through everything else, I think we'll see a lot more interesting opportunities to replace traditional work. So the entire world is important to us. Austin and I have spoken at length about, planning even the nuances of validator placement. Right now, we have validators in 4 major regions of the world to lower latency, and we don't have users to even touch our upper limits of, transactional speed, our bandwidth, as it were. The whole world is our market.
Yep. And putting those things in place now just makes scaling so much easier later.
Until we're able to have our own satellite network.
We've also talked about that.
Yep. Not even kidding. It would cost us $40 to $80 million, depending if we were going for about 160, 320 satellites. And then you could have a blockchain that could never be pulled down. Anyway, lots and lots of future things.
I want to follow up with the Bright Zones follow-up to the original question. He says, yes, say an actor person got into the system and took an amount of tokens from the system. What would the tell to see that these tokens are stolen, or this person has a history of stolen tokens?
So with a number of the partners that we're speaking with right now, there is already a growing need to blacklist wallets across multiple chains. If a wallet participates in a hack, it gets blacklisted, added to a very large list that most chains and platforms or marketplaces have or will have access to. So that's one thing. How to tell, that goes into what Austin was talking about with our partners and their platforms and services for ecosystem monitoring. I think personally, because right now it's able to be done programmatically, but in the future, I think it'll likely be even more automated than that. It's a very manual process in the interim, but we've also spoken about putting in place different breakers or fuses. So let's say that somebody tried to move $5 million out of Gauss. We would likely, I'm not saying this is in place right now, but we would likely pause that transaction until it can be looked at, right? If it's not somebody that's regularly moving large sums of money or one of our partners or something like that, we'll likely have some sort of breaker or fuse system put in place. It gets further, more complex down the road with the Omnipool. That's a whole big topic with the potential of even quarantining assets as they're brought into or attempted to be removed out of the ecosystem. That's something we're going to continually be looking at, though. I can say
on that as well. Our main bridge partner is going to be CryptoLink, and we have the access control to turn that on and off should the need arise. So again, we could quarantine that, make sure it's a valid transaction before turning back on and allowing it to go through.
Right. One of the other things that's important to note about most bad actors in this space, the highest volume of fraud and theft comes from people launching scams and fraud and rug pulls. In vetting people, in knowing what their real identity is, in having them sign agreements with us, to participate in good faith, ethically, to meet our principles, all of that stuff would allow us to pursue them legally, which again is something that no other ecosystem can do, has done, or is likely even willing or able to do. So hope that explains that at length, Brightzone.
Alex, we have a lot of work cut out for us with some of these sound bites.
Yes, we do, but we'll take our time.
There are bars being dropped tonight. Boy, oh boy.
I kind of want to take a second from the questions. I think we're going to go a bit long in the tooth. I apologize, Alex and Rob, to you both. But are you both good to go for another 15, 30 minutes? Or
Yeah, let's do it.
all right. So Lauren and I and Austin and Pat, we've all spoken a great deal about the future of Gauss, right? And something that's not readily known, something that we don't have tons of information out there about, because in a lot of ways, startups, companies, projects, teams, whatever, use too many things as vanity metrics, right? Being ESG, so you're a green chain. Well, we're remarkably energy efficient, but it's not a selling point to us. It's just something you do, right? We have a lot of things we want to do and that we're already planning for with, environmentalism, or not-for-profit, stuff like that. So you even said that you don't like talking about the future of things, Lauren, maybe just the future of research or data stuff. But do you want to talk briefly a couple minutes about the NFPO plans for that? Because for anyone else listening, Lauren is our Chief Science Officer. She will also be heading our not-for-profit. So she'll be handling internal research and development and all of the not-for-profit, altruistic, philanthropic type things.
Yeah, so for the not-for-profit, one of the things we're really wanting to do is give back to our local communities and give back to the places that we all came from. Austin, Gary, Pat, and myself, we all have humble beginnings. We have all, had a struggle to get to where we are. And we see a lot of things that we encountered while we were growing up and as we've developed that we really think could be addressed to help our community members, succeed and create projects that are, absolutely phenomenal, or just help them in their day-to-day lives. We are wanting to launch the not-for-profit to help address a lot of those issues, whether it's from doing a universal basic income studies to doing food community grant programs or, school grant programs. On the other side of that, we're also wanting to do proprietary-based research for Gauss specifically, so that we can not just be on the cutting edge of blockchain and science and technology, but mainly because we want to be able to come up with features that allows users to more easily interface with blockchain tech. Right now, a lot of things are very clunky. It's very difficult to get a lot of mainstream users to the platforms just because, it takes a lot of time to really get your feet underneath you and really get comfortable with MetaMask and whatever else you're using for whatever preferred projects you want to interact with. So one of our focuses is going to be on researching ways that are going to help our community members and help people, onboard into the Web3 space and bring more community members to blockchain tech without necessarily them knowing it.
So one of the things that we're doing pretty early on to tap into what she's saying, because we do want to do a lot of socioeconomic research, believe that the only way to really build a better world is to first figure out what that should look like, what that could look like. And we believe that can be done empirically. You throw a lot of resources at it, brain power, computational power. Anyway, so we have an early test, a socioeconomic test with our redistribution, which if you look through the white paper, you'll see a portion in there talking about all of our transaction fees. A small portion of it goes to all gang holders or LP holders, likely just gang holders, but we'll see. And that in the long term, over the 2-3 year run, works out to be a test of a transaction fee based UBI ecosystem or UBI system within the ecosystem. So half means tested, half not means tested. That's something we're doing from day one to get data 2 and 3 years from now. So I just really want to touch on that because I really don't think we talk about it much or enough. And so thanks, Lauren, for stepping in and letting me throw you under the bus there for a moment.
No problem.
What else do we have for questions?
Yeah, I see one from Jeannie here. So, how will Gauss Dominator be better than other blockchains in the space? Popular blockchains already have low gas fees, etc. How will Gauss implement Gasless? And what will be the strategy to be the best of all blockchains? Well, we've gone over that last bit in fair detail. As far as the Gasless is concerned, we are not Gasless to begin. However, that is going to be one of the absolute first things that we change with Gauss v2. Our testnet is currently Gasless. It's something that we're already currently testing and you know, figuring out all the little kinks and bugs. But that will be the first change we make moving into Gauss v2 later this year.
And I just kind of built off of what I already mentioned in regards to removing the barriers for entry into crypto and blockchain. You know, we want to make it as seamless as possible for people to actually interact with the tech without them having to put in the work to figure out how to use it. So eventually we're hoping it'll, you know, possibly like something more like an Amazon type marketplace. You know, you just go in, you get whatever rewards you want, and then you leave. It's just a click of a couple of buttons, and then you don't even really think about the process that's going into it. It's just almost second nature to you. So we're really excited to see what's going to come down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to remove as many hurdles as possible. You know, I think it's an interesting novel concept to educate new people into the crypto space, much like it was an interesting novel concept to educate people on how to use Telnet back in the day. But the real importance is meeting people where they're at, allowing them to create an account and just participate without learning a whole bunch of new things. You shouldn't create hurdles for them. You should give them an AOL Instant Messenger account and let them chat with friends. Same kind of thing here. I know we're kind of like just taking the reins from you, Rob, and jumping around with questions, but there's one I wanted to answer from Tomner. Asked about partnering with already established KYC providers like RugDoc or Obsidian. So we're actually already partnered with Obsidian as our first KYB provider. We have others in the pipeline that do offer those services, but Obsidian uniquely handles their KYB process in a manner that is extremely thorough. And I'm a big fan of that. So we'll be developing our KYB process with them over time. You know, it's going to evolve over time, what we want to see out of it as results, what information we need. And then when we have need to expand to more partners, we will be doing that as well. So the process will still be the same across multiple third-party vendors, is the goal there. So yes, already partnered with some, speaking with more. That's a really big cornerstone. Part of the reason we want to work with third parties on a lot of this stuff is to help decentralize one of the most important aspects of our whole ecosystem, right? The vetting process. It allows us to ensure that we're building with quality, putting more and more eyes on it, and not having any sort of favoritism or something like that, or missing some big red flag. So really excited about all that. We actually have we have a meeting tomorrow with one of them in our pipeline, I think. this week. I don't know, my schedule's kind of full. I know it's coming up here soon, but we have a meeting with one that's going to be going through curation soon, or going through the KYB soon. The other part of that, though, is that we want a third party holding those documents. So if a bad actor does slip through the cracks, we have another party that has their identifying documents or whatever other information to help us ensure accountability. So, yep. What else? What other questions do we have? Oh, another one from Tomner. Will Gauss provide protection to investors if a project on their chain failed, not because of fraud or scam, but rather because of abandonment or incompetence? So first thing with that is, I don't personally, I know there's a lot of speculation in this space, but if you buy Gang, in my opinion, you're a buyer, not an investor. And I believe over time, many, if not most, digital products that are on chain will not be viewed any differently from digital products off chain. So if you have a trading card on Gauss, it's not a security, it's the same as a trading card physically or in Magic the Gathering Arena. That said, buyers still need protections, right? Oh, good seeing you, Koa. Have a great night. But buyers still need protections. So Kickstarter has abilities to hold projects that launch with them accountable. We will likely develop something along those lines, and anyone that accepts a grant from us will have milestones they have to reach. What we don't want to see is somebody just out of the blue fails, right? You should be able to see those things 6 months out or longer. And I'm more concerned at this juncture to start with how do we help them shore up their weak areas rather than dealing with the fallout of them failing. You know, perhaps they need to be merged with another team. Maybe they lack organizational or operational structuring. Maybe they need financial and accounting support or legal support or more developmental support. So I'm really interested in ensuring success. We will have to deal with failure, but I'm hopeful that it's not going to be a large percentage or large portion of those launching with us.
To mention as well that in the curation process, you know, we are actually like having a review of not just the team, but also their projects, their tokenomics, to try and make sure that we can kind of predict early on, like, hey, have you guys actually thought about this all the way through yet? And Derek is definitely doing an awesome job with heading that. So is Landon, so is Keith. So our team members that are on the curation team, they're doing a phenomenal job of trying to weed out projects that they think aren't quite ready to move to that next step yet. But as Gary said, we are going to be offering support for projects that do launch with us to help ensure their success.
It's a great call out. Because it's super important. Some of the intangibles to look for. I got lost and I'm out of order, but I feel like we covered.
Oh, I can answer a couple more quickly. Luckies, you guys also have a burning mechanism ? No, we have 250 million total supply. That means we're inherently deflationary because people are going to lose Gang over time. If people choose to send their Gang to a dead wallet or do something like only burns, that's on them. It's not a mechanism that we're actively promoting, because I have great ambitions for the entirety of the Gauss ecosystem. I'm more concerned at the other end of the spectrum that I have a target price range that I would like Gang to remain under, and to do so would likely do something like a stock split. So, you issue 10% more, another 25 million Gang, for example, and it goes to all holders representing what they're holding. How that works with LPs is something to be figured out down the road when we're actually approaching that. but that's realistically like 5 years, 10 years off. So not overly concerned. What other questions we got? Bueller?
Tackle Ferris question. Can you briefly describe the benefits of minting and holding the Pharaoh card NFTs?
Do you want me to? You want to?
Go for it.
Okay. So, Ferro cards were initially conceived to be a way to engage with the community. Imagine if any other blockchain at scale launched a pass, a sort of membership pass, and a magnet for rewards, a key to opportunities when they launched. What would that then look like, now for Ethereum or for Polygon or something like that? So it's an experiment. I think the best way to build and learn in this space is to experiment. What will that look like in 5 and 10 years? So the benefits to it is that I'm trying to find the question to find out where it was. Oh, there it is. The benefits right now are the ongoing contests, the wings and dings, and then others that will continue to launch. We have a bridge miner with CryptoLink. The rewards from that will be distributed across all NFT holders. I'm going to be pumping as much value. We are going to be pumping as much value as possible into those for the long term. If Pepsi launches with us or Snoop Dogg launches with us, I want to airdrop some of those tokens to NFT holders or give discounts to those NFT holders. When we have a large event or convention for Gauss, I want to airdrop tickets. I think Gary V's execution with VFriends is a best in class of how to do this, how to build and engage with the community. It's an NFT masterclass what he's doing, and that's kind of what I want to do with ours. But from the protocol level, right, being owned by the chain itself. So lots and lots of things, all the things need more dots.
Real quick, Gary, what are your thoughts on Ferret's memes? Have you been keeping up with these?
I mean, I see many of them all the time. I haven't seen is there one that you're talking about in particular?
Particularly the ones of you and him in bed thinking about different things.
At the very beginning of our AMA today, and I think he posted one during a holders hangout. So Ferret, I love Ferret. He's near and dear to my heart. He's there during many of the holders hangouts. I think it's freaking hilarious.
I feel like that's not the only bed one. I feel like I've seen more.
I think I've seen another one or two. And then there's the meme with the boyfriend girlfriend and the distracted boyfriend memes. Yes. Yeah, there we go. There's one right there. I love the memes. I don't love meme coins, but I love memes.
And by the way, huge entries in Gleam Weekly to just create a join the gang meme. That's my last plug of the AMA for the Gleam campaign or contest. What are the long-term sustainable value drivers for the gang token? I feel like you covered that.
Yeah.
Are we able to check the amount of tokens sold on LCX sorted by countries?
Not to my knowledge. There might be something in the back end during the public sale. I'm not certain. I'll let you know in a week.
Copy.
Oh, we missed one of the first questions. What are the most important and immediate goals for Gauss in 2023? And I feel like this is one we could each take a stab at answering and, to start closing this out. For me, my first goal, and one of the more important goals and roles of the CEO, is to bring in funding, right? We need funding to have liquidity in the ecosystem. We need funding to build and expand a team to continue developing. So for me, number one goal is funding at the moment. Number two is to then launch quality clients on Gauss. And we have a lot of those in the pipeline and a lot of relationships to well-known brands that we've already spoken with as well. So those are my top two objectives. Third objective is the team. We have OKRs that we use behind the scenes. That's objectives and key results. The most important of those for me is the one related to our team, because our team is my number one priority, which is why funding is also number one priority. Without funding, we don't have a team. So who wants to take the next stab at like most important and immediate goals?
For me, it would have to be to continue to put down roots. We've done a lot with our team and with our international community. I would like to see us start to expand more within our local communities as well. So I'm really excited to see what happens within the Atlanta area, and then starting to bring on team members that also have the same kind of vision as us and that have expertise to help enhance all of the areas where we're wanting to grow. I'm really excited for whenever we really start to be able to throw our feelers out there and bring more people on. What about you, Austin?
Build, build, build. I'm in building mode. So. Yeah, I mean, that's building projects, building teams, Noble Swap, I'm mostly getting a bunch of different apps out there, app integrations. Noble Swap is going through its final round of security audits. I'll be opening up the bug bounty for that here soon. Building out more larger and bigger development teams so we can move quicker and faster. And some alpha. There is potentially another app getting dropped here within the next month or so. So look out for that. But yeah, building.
Just so you guys know, in case you've ever wondered, Austin does look like his emoji. He always has a coffee in his hand.
Pride and a lot of coffee.
What about you, Rob?
Immediate goal. So I would really trying to establish, our brand and who we are through a lot of the content that we're putting out. If you've been following along, we do this show, Marketing Monday, on Twitter. It's a Twitter space where we connect other projects, businesses with, we give them a forum to share what they're doing and, what their ambitions are, and we connect them with other CMOs, strategists, and really just to help networking and bring value. And that second part, I think, is the most important, because I want us to be associated with a chain, a community that gives value, whether it's monetarily through contests or just through value and tips and things that people can really feel good about. When people come to the Discord, I want them to feel good when they come to our Twitter page or any of the socials. I want them to be educated or just feel good. So with the content that we put out, I like to obviously want engaging things that are shareable to help widen the scope of who we are and to get more eyeballs on us. But I want to really build the foundation of people starting to understand who we are, what kind of a team we are, and what we represent, when they get a little snippet of what we're doing, whether that's a video or a post. So that's kind of a mishmash of an answer, but just widening the community, just getting more people like you guys in here, and doing that through content and the relationships that are formed on top of that content.
Alex? Thank you, Rob. and Austin and Lauren. Alex, you want to chime in with some goals? I'm pretty sure I know what yours are, but
I mean, I just
content.
want to help. Well, content will help support Rob on his quests, or growing grass and everything like that. So, my goal is to help Rob and you guys and everyone else here. So, yeah.
Thanks for all you do, Alex. We appreciate you.
Well,
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys too.
I'm so appreciative of our whole team, and we have one last question from Moonbird about how did the team form. So each of the other co-founders have known me for more than a decade. I've known Pat the longest, since I was in high school. We were at least, like, he knew who I was. I knew who he was because of his daughter, who was my sister's friend. I didn't date Pat's daughter. But yeah, we've known each other for a long time. We've worked together in different capacities. I think that's really important when building a co-founding team. The rest of the team is largely 1 and 2 degrees of separation, with some interesting caveats to that. We've had a number of people like Derek reached out to us and wanted to join the team. And he has a phenomenal background, skill set, education, career. Rob, we found through D-Rock, Gary V's right hand, one of his tweets. Alex, we found, I reached out to you, Alex, initially, because I went through all of your content and I really liked your content and said, hey, I want you to come help us and make content for Gauss.
Here I am.
And here you are. Mac was a interesting happenstance find from a marketing company that we worked with. I got an email from him saying he was leaving the marketing company. I said, hey, why don't we have a call soon to follow up? And, he ended up joining the team not long after that. I mean, I forget how long it took from that call to bring him on the team, but that was the best thing that came out of that marketing relationship. It's interesting how a lot of those things happen. One of my sisters is on the team. Gerard, our legal counsel, was suggested to me by another attorney, and his sister is also on the team, which I think is another thing. If you can work with family, I'm not suggesting that everyone do it, but Alicia, my sister, knows me probably better than anyone else on the team. It's saying a lot because Austin, Lauren, and Pat know me very well. But, if you can work with family, and not in a nepotistic sense, but she believes in me, believes in my vision, believes in my ability to lead and build a team, all of that, I think that's valuable. But our whole team, I'm remarkably humbled to be the only person on the team without a degree. So there's that.
That's a great fact. I love that.
I think I graduated from the same university that Oprah and Shakespeare graduated from.
It's the best one.
I guess and skins.
What's
There's
that?
a very long list of founders that haven't graduated, so that's a good point.
Yeah, there is a long list. A lot of them, came from upper middle or upper class. They came from opportunity. It takes something to walk away from a paid-for Ivy League education, in my opinion. But yeah, school of hard knocks in life. Or if anyone looks at my LinkedIn page, one of our earliest AMAs, somebody got upset because they thought I was lying about having a master's degree. Because my LinkedIn says master's from the University of Autodidacticism in the study of pantology, estimated completion date 2142, which is the study of all human knowledge from the University of Being Self-Taught in 120 years.
Where technology is going, you might actually make it. You might get your degree, buddy.
Right.
Hey, that takes a high degree of man-machine interfacing and longevity during aging. It would take both of those things. You need AI in your brain to have ready access to all human knowledge more than we do with our cell phones.
I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who stayed this long. I know it's been a longer AMA than we had originally stated, but thank you so much for tuning in and for getting to know our team.
Yeah, and thanks for all the amazing questions.
Yes, definitely. We appreciate
People love questions. Ask them always. Never stop asking questions about anything. Don't ever pass up the opportunity to ask a question, be it of us or anyone else. I think it's the best way to learn. And if you have a question, it's likely, it's highly probable that somebody else has a similar question or could learn from the answer anyway. So we've built our community and nurtured it as, that is one of our foundational things for the community. Because I think it's one of the more toxic aspects of this space as a whole. When you go into a new community, ask questions, you're usually shunned as a non-believer. And that's not what I wanted to see with Gauss. It's not what we wanted to see. So thank you again for all the great questions. And if we missed one, if it wasn't intentional, please tag it and I'll come back and answer it. So if we did miss one, I don't think we did, but if we did, please tag us. So thanks.
Yeah, this was fantastic. Just chock full of, like you said, great questions and great commentary and great insight on all things that are going on here. And if you missed it, the code was Oliver, Oliver. That's my oldest dog's name. Check in with Gleam, check in with Zealy, check in the Discord. We really appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world.
We have the best community.
Bye, guys.
Agreed. Let the meme wars commence.
I'm really, I know we're wrapping up and we are wrapped now, but I'm looking forward to seeing the Gauss community in 2 and 3 and 5 and 10 years. Seriously.
I feel like the memes are only going to get weirder. They already put Pat on a 30.
I mean, one day we'll be able to explain to people the island after the island is a thing.
All right. I want to say good night, you guys. Have a good one.
Night. Thanks everyone for joining.
Good night, everybody. Thanks.